Justine.
How are you all doing? Okay, how many of you are vlogging right now? Okay, how many of you are vloggers? Okay. I feel like pretty much everyone on YouTube now is a vlogger, which is amazing because I'm excited to announce that YouTube is doing another Next Up, the YouTube Vlogger Edition. So we're going to be looking for a ton of vloggers. It's going to be kind of like YouTube Next Up, but for vloggers. I'll let Austin tell you more about that. But for me personally, I mean, YouTube has pretty much changed my life, not only as a career, but all of my friends I've pretty much met on YouTube. Even all of you guys, I haven't met you yet. Some of you have. Actually, right there, I mentioned you earlier. Hi! So, I'm so excited to work with YouTube on this program, and yeah, do you want to tell them more about it, or?
Sure. Thank you, Justine. So
all the details.
The program, check out youtube.com/nextvlogger on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, March 28th. All the details will be there. You can apply for the program there. Like Justine said, you're going to be learning all the best from her and other YouTubers. The program is a 12-week program. You get $5,000 worth of production equipment, exclusive private sessions with Justine and others, and then a bunch of promotion on YouTube. So check it out, youtube.com/nextvlogger. Thank you.
You guys get started now, right now.
Get started right now.
All right. Hi, everybody. My voice is a little bit louder. I'm Taylor. We are so excited that you all are here. And creators, aspiring creators, stars. So we want to do a panel, question and answers, with a bunch of YouTubers to see how you can get huge on YouTube too. So iJustine, thanks so much for joining us. Dan Brown is here. Woo! Excellent. ShayCarl. Great. TheWillOfDC. We're going to get our host out here to answer some questions himself. And I think Charles Trippy is running down as well. So when he gets out here, and KassemG.
Hi, Kassem.
We want to start off with, what are you guys most excited about for at Playlist Live this weekend?
Honestly, meeting everyone, like yesterday was awesome because you just walk around and you just meet people who watch your videos and you get to actually talk to them and realize those actual comments are real people. So for me, that's the best part.
For me, it's like, because I've been doing this and because it's such a kind of unique thing to YouTube and have a following on it, like I've made really, really strong friendships with other people who do it. And so to see them again, because we only get to see them like a couple times a year because I'm not out in LA like everyone else. So that, and also what Justine said.
I'm excited to put my sweaty armpit on everybody's shoulder like this. Woo! So when we get a picture, tell me if you can feel my sweaty armpit on your shoulder, okay? Like that. What are you most excited about?
Thanks, Shay. I'm excited that I keep coming back, you know, like, that I'm still relevant, I guess. I'm also excited to hang out with Jenna Marble. And I'm also excited that I found out that the hotel workers throw away live snakes in trash cans. I saw that happen yesterday, so be careful when you throw yourself away. There's snakes, I'm not joking, there's snakes.
How about you, Will?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
What are you most excited about this weekend at Playlist Live?
I think I'm excited to be hosting it again. I think that's a little bit of an exciting thing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Some of you were mentioning meeting other partners, creators, fans. Do you guys have any crazy stories of fan interaction or anything that's super funny or memorable with either at an event like Playlist Live or VidCon or just like at the mall?
I actually have a good one. Well, okay, maybe it's not a good one, but at last year's Playlist, after it was all, like, I was so very much, like, hardcore into it, where I, like, didn't party and I was in bed right when it, like, after everything ended because I wanted to be on top of my game, but, like, Sunday when it ended last year, I was like, I need a drink. So I went to the bar and got lots of drinks, and then I ran into somebody who was like, oh, I'm a big fan of yours, and I was really drunk, and they were like, I don't like you anymore because you're drunk, and I felt like it just, like, I was just like, I have to go back to my room and, like, give penance for my sins now. I felt so terrible, so I'm sorry to whoever that was, and it was just a very weird experience for me. They're like, you do bad things, and I'm like,
You're redeeming
I know, I was like,
yourself,
I guess I'm going straight edge now, I don't know.
If you'd be nice, Kassem will resubscribe.
Kassem Kassem will never resubscribe. I've gotten over that. It's okay.
I think for me, it's a little awkward because, you know, a lot of you guys know that I love dancing in Apple stores. Well, this is not a good thing because they know as soon as I walk in, they know what I'm going to do. So they stop me, and before I even walk in, they're like, we just want to let you know we're really busy today so you can't dance here. So for me, that's been a little disappointing. But I've met so many awesome people that are actually just shopping in Apple stores. I'm like, hey, what's up? So, yeah, I forgot what the original question was. So, okay.
My favorite bit of fan interaction happened when I went to my favorite burrito place in Nebraska, where I'm from, and I walked in, and the kid working behind the counter, as soon as I walk in the door, just goes, Dan Brown! And like, I thought that it was someone that like, I maybe met through school or something, and so I was like, do I know you? He's like, I love your videos! And he's like, I thought you lived in Omaha! And so, it was fun, made my day.
I once had somebody upgrade me to first class on a flight, and I was like, what's this all about? I was like, well, I'll take it. And then when I got off the airplane in Salt Lake, the Delta lady who did it for me, she's like, did you like your flight? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I love your videos. I'm like, oh, are you the reason I'm sitting in first class? She's like, yeah. I'm like, thank you. Keep watching my videos.
That has never happened to me. I do have an airplane story. I remember going through security, and since I'm brown and Middle Eastern, it's a little different experience for me. And the random bag screenings seem a little bit more random. And I walked through, and the guy, I put my stuff through, and the guy scanned me or touched me or felt me up or whatever, and I went around, and he had my bag. He was holding it like this. He's like, is this your bag? I was like, yeah. He's like, good, because I love your videos. And I was like, good, man. You didn't find all that weed in my bag. Woo! Just kidding. How old are you guys? No, I know.
Sounds good. So there's an array of anecdotes there. Cool. Well, let's go back to making videos for a minute then. Since we have a lot of people out here who are taping this as we speak, videoing this as we speak, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get huge on YouTube? How do you get your start? How do you interact with the community? What type of things do you want to see happening more of on YouTube, especially from new or aspiring creators?
Make something new, I think, is a good advice. Offer something that nobody else is offering, because if you do what everybody else is doing, you got to stand out, you know what I'm saying? So think of a way to do something in a different way, your own way. It's probably the best advice, because if you don't stand out, then you're just part of everybody else. So you got to find a way.
You don't necessarily have to create something totally original and new. You just have to, I think, find your voice. Like if you wanted to do like a Ray William Johnson type format where you're reviewing things, it's fine. It doesn't matter. You just have to have a unique voice, and I think that's the hardest part, is finding that yourself.
Yeah, I would say spend some time just finding what you like to talk about and what you like to do. Like, I always, when I'm on panels with I guess my peers, I feel a bit of a fraud because they're all so like creative and talented in their own way, and they came to YouTube with such creativity and talent and like something ready to give to YouTube. And I came to YouTube just taking, like I came to YouTube as a fan, and I fanboyed over all of them for so many years, and I, by luck, was able to find myself in a position where I was talking about YouTubers all the time, and YouTubers liked, me talking about them, and I found a little niche for myself in YouTube News where obviously I don't get the millions of views that they do, but I feel like I have a nice little audience that I enjoy, and that, I like that, like, being, popular on YouTube can mean many different things. Like it could be 10,000 views a video because I love talking about news, I love talking to other YouTubers about YouTube, and that's really what my passion is. I'm not like, oh, I want to like be famous on YouTube. It's like, I just want to talk about YouTube with anyone else who wants to talk about YouTube and listen to me talk about YouTube. And I'm always very fortunate that I'm in this position where I'm on stage with these guys and I'm here hosting. I always feel very, very blessed.
You're in the right place then. I think everybody here will talk to you about YouTube and videos.
I think really, what most of you guys have said is really make something that you love. So if you're talking about cooking and you don't love cooking, like we're gonna know that you don't actually like it. So really find that thing that you like to talk about. And I know I get a lot of people that ask me, like, how are you so comfortable in front of the camera? I mean, you just do it so much that you become comfortable. And for me too, when I'm filming, I realize annoying things that I do because I'm editing it, so I'm like, oh, I should never do that again. So you really learn from yourself and from your editing. Hi!
Finally, where have you been, young man?
I got lost. They told me the first floor.
We're talking about what you would suggest to future YouTubers, Charles. If I was going to start a channel today, what should I do?
If you were to start like from scratch,
Right.
a brand new channel,
This is a good question I should ask you, Charles. What if you had to start all over and you lost like both of your channels? You had to start a new channel and nobody knew who you were. What would you do?
try.
That's a lot of work,
No, actually, I would probably do the exact same thing. I feel like YouTube is personality based. You guys probably already touched on that. If you were to like start with like, I think skits are really good because they're really funny. You can really capture people, but to really get in depth, in my opinion, is like a personality based. It's like what I started was just like sort of like vlogs so people can get to know you, I guess. And then from that, you can branch out and do other things. I don't know. I mean, that's just what I did. That's probably what I would do again. But.
I'd say good advice is make a lot of videos and something will stick to the wall because you're like, well, I don't know, what am I good at? Sometimes you won't know that until you find it in yourself. So just like, if you have an idea, like, make it, try it. Don't be like, oh, that's dumb, it won't work. But you might as well because you gotta get good at editing and filming. I mean, you gotta do all these things. So the best advice is just to make stuff and you'll get better at it eventually. I mean, it just takes time, but that's probably the best advice.
Well, and I think the question was framed in kind of the wrong way. The question shouldn't be, how do I become big on YouTube? The question should be just, how do I start YouTubing? And my advice would be, there are all sorts of these niche communities that are starting to, it used to be where YouTube was a community in and of itself. It's grown to the point now where, like, I have kind of gotten into like the chess community on YouTube recently. There are like 10 really popular chess channels that get like 20,000 views a video. Yeah, I mean, there are all sorts of things. So find your niche community and just kind of burst onto the scene with confidence and really interact with other people and just try to work your way up. And if you're charismatic and fun and people like you, then it's a meritocracy.
So make a lot of videos and let your like personality really show. Go out there, have fun. And Will has one more thing.
Sorry, I was trying to shout to Dan so he could say it into the mic. I was just going to say that interaction is key. I mean, like, I don't think any of us would, be where we are if we weren't so invested in who was watching us and having a conversation with everyone that was watching us, and then having a conversation with each other. Like, the biggest part about YouTube is the interaction. Like, without it, it's nothing.
All you guys. Okay, cool. Dan, you wrote something that I think is kind of a fun question. What maybe like niche community on YouTube are you a part of or following, or what type of videos are you watching that maybe everybody doesn't know about that you don't post that you just watched? So like how Dan is watching some chess videos. Does anybody else have their secret YouTube video watching habits?
Makeup tutorials all the time.
Awesome.
I don't know if anybody is into fighting games like Street Fighter and Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Marvel vs. Capcom, but like I'm intensely into these like fighting games right now, the whole fighting game community, like not video games at large, just like these 3 fighting games and all the people that like do them. I'm kind of hardcore obsessed right now.
What's crazy about YouTube is you'll come across somebody that's like, what? This person has 400,000 subscribers? I've never heard of this person. That's what's so insane about YouTube is that it's just so big now. It's a giant... YouTube used to be like, a state. And now YouTube is like the world and there's so much... Is that a good analogy, Kassem?
No. I forget what the question was.
Anything you want to talk about?
Honestly, I can't hear anything you guys are saying. I'm just sitting here trying to smile for you.
Kassem's always just a pretty face. You can just sit there, be the pretty face.
What are we talking about? Niche communities? Niche? What's the word? I don't think I'm as tuned into I just like watching comedy videos, like funny videos. But even in there's some niche stuff, like people you've never seen. I totally agree. YouTube used to be a state, and it was small enough, and it was a niche in its own right. And since it got so big, we were able to spin off, and all these other people were able to find success. I was watching Kat Riffick's panel about gaming, and she was talking about live streaming and all that, like stuff I didn't even know existed. And that makes me happy to hear, because that just means that it's getting bigger and more people are getting interested.
Cool. One thing that I'd add is, you don't even just have to find a niche that already exists. Like, part of what's so great about it is, like, you can create your own. Like, if you think there should be like a YouTube book club, start it. Just put yourself out there, and you'll find, even if it's just like 4 other people that want to do it with you, that's how big things start.
Cool. I like it.
And that's what YouTube is really all about. It's just, you know, the interaction.
Totally.
I remember, yeah, uploading my videos at night, and I would go to bed because I was excited to read the comments, and I'd make myself not like wait for it to upload. I'm like, I'm gonna upload it and go to sleep, and then when I wake up, I'll have something to look forward to. So I'd wake up and be like, ooh, I get to read the comments. Not this morning, I didn't.
No, Christmas morning.
Oh,
It's like,
Christmas,
you know,
it
you're
was
so
like Christmas
excited.
morning, yeah, because you get to wake up, and then you wake up, you're like, the video failed, I'm like, take it.
Should we talk about comments for a minute? How do you guys handle comments? How do you read them? Do you reply? Negative comments can sometimes be a bummer. So how do you guys handle comments? There are a lot out there, which I think is great, but...
I mean, I think when we all started, it all affected us, like probably personally. We all took it personally, but I think it's becoming like almost a joke. Like that you have to have those negative comments on there to know you're doing something right, because they're still coming back. And you'll notice the same names too. So it's the same names, yeah.
My videos so much. Why are you still watching?
And they're still subscribed, and they're following you on Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, and everything.
You really hate me that much. Because honestly, some people literally do just subscribe just to be mean. And I think they just want you to acknowledge them. And when you do, they're either still angry, or they're really excited that you actually said hi to them. But I mean, that's the hard part too. Even for my mom, she'll read through my comments and she's like, you need to stop making video game videos because these people hate you. I'm like, no, Mom, they're just upset because the video game community can be really, really harsh. And that's like literally my favorite thing to do. So, you know, when I started the gaming channel, people were very, very mean. And I was like, this is my passion, this is something that I love to do, so I'm going to keep doing it. So as soon as you find that audience of people that really support you, they stand up for you in the comments.
I mean, for every negative comment, you have probably like 10 positive comments too. So I mean, that's just motivation in general. So, and then you just like, you're able to interact, and like, you're able to like, there's a lot of people in the comment section that I've actually met at these events. They say their username, and I remember, and they just, you know,
I think you guys would be surprised at how much YouTubers read their comments. Like, I know it's like an addiction for me. It's like constantly. And there's a real appreciation for good, like, constructive comments. You know, like, there's so many just like verse and all that crap. It's like you glean through. But when I come across like a real thought out, you know, comment, I appreciate that and I read that. So that's important to us, you know. So don't feel like your comments are going unseen, because we constantly read them. And those like really meaningful comments where there's a lot of times where it's like, a comment will say that I'm doing something wrong, and you know, human nature is like, no, shut up. But then I've kind of said, well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe this person has, and if you know, you let that in, you can kind of like change yourself if you will be willing to, like, you know, listen.
Well, and you know, as much as comments still suck to this day, and as much as there will always be trolls, the comment section has gotten better over the years, and I think a lot of credit needs to go to YouTube for introducing ratings on comments, because that provides an incentive for people to actually leave good ones. And I think they're probably going to continue to get better as, you know, there's more and more Google Plus integration, as it's more connected to the people personally, not just some anonymous username.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So bad comments do exist, but there are a lot of really good ones, and everybody's reading them, and you just roll with it, it sounds like. Use it to influence when it's, you know, helpful.
And it's kind of crazy. Like, if there's something that I don't know, like I've never had to buy a refrigerator before, and I had to recently. And so I made a video just talking about, like, I went to Best Buy, I'm like showing everybody my refrigerators, and everyone's like, oh, I have this one, I have this one. And they were giving me all these ratings, and they were telling me what their parents had. And some kid was just telling me, like, his dad had like this specific refrigerator that he had all these issues with, so I didn't get that refrigerator. But it's really cool because when I'm reading through and people are their real life experiences on what refrigerator they have. So I mean, I should get a Samsung refrigerator if everybody's really concerned. I don't know.
Sell out.
No, everyone told me to get a Samsung refrigerator, so I did. So thank you.
There's been times I've been at Best Buy where I'm like, and I'll tweet, I'm like, you guys, I need some product reviews. What's the best one? And it's been really helpful. I'm like, okay, good, I'm getting this one.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, do you guys ever watch like instructional videos then? One of my friends wants to tie a tie, or what have you like watched that's maybe surprising in terms of refrigerator reviews or something else?
Going back to the refrigerator, I accidentally pushed some buttons on it and it turned it off, and I didn't realize it for a couple days until everything in my refrigerator and freezer melted. So I did go to YouTube and I'm like, refrigerator turning off, don't understand. And they're like, oh, you just need to reset it. So, I mean, you literally can find anything on the internet. I love it.
What's an instructional video?
Okay, let's take it back to you guys though for a second. What do you think really contributed to your success? I know we went over having your own voice or whatnot, but can you point to like a specific idea or video or moment where you felt like something clicked and you're like, cool, I'm running with this and hopefully it's gonna work?
I mean, I think we've all had those moments where you have a video that kind of catches fire. You know, Dan, we talk about the comments giving us information. You know, Dan provides a lot of like how to do a Rubik's Cube. How many views does that video have? Like
20-some million.
Right. So if 20 million people watch you do a Rubik's Cube, and if he's kind of a funny, cool guy, they're like, oh, this guy can do a Rubik's Cube and he's kind of smart. Maybe I'll check him out. So there's videos like that will happen that are just crazy that blow up and handsome, right? So tell us how many doors the Rubik's Cube is open for you, Dan.
42 quintillion? That's actually how many different, how many different combinations of
And was the Rubik's Cube just something you were like, cool, I know how to do this and let's do it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I made the video like hoping it would get some views, but like no one ever expects that many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to the question, like what has kept people watching, I mean, yeah, that provided the most incredible like introduction to YouTube ever. But then continuing with that, like I was a kid, like I was a 17-year-old kid, and my audience has kind of grown up with me, and so I mean, yeah, it definitely is about personality. We touched on that earlier.
It's kind of interesting too because I can't speak for everybody here on this, but we've all had our moments where like we realized there was something there, like Justine with the phone bill and stuff like that. But like, for me, honestly, I still don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just learning. I'm still learning along with everyone else because YouTube is what I know is still what you guys know at the same time. You know what I mean? I may have been there earlier, but I think we're all still learning. I know when I have conversations with everybody, we have an idea, we have an understanding, but we're still learning what really works and works for us. Coming back with Dan, the niche community or niche community is really important because then you kind of narrow down things. But I mean, honestly, like I'm still learning with everyone else. But yeah.
And what's interesting, you said growing up with your audience. I mean, I started doing this in 2006 before vlogging was actually vlogging, and I was just posting vlogs that happened to have videos in them of my day.
Vlogs.
So it's really cool because you are growing up.
I remember my first iJustine video.
I'm scared.
No, and it was the first I ever heard it was when the iPhone came out in your build. I was like, who is this hot babe with this giant AT&T bill? And I thought it was so funny, and I didn't even know people like made videos and then I found out like, whoa, she edits all of her stuff on her own, and then I discovered there's like a lot more of these people that were doing that, and I just wanted to talk about my first iJustine moment. So
stupid.
I had nothing to add.
But I mean, even like that video, that kind of made me realize that there was something more to this. I mean, I was just showing people how ridiculous this phone bill was. And within 2 hours, it was on every local news station, everywhere. I was like, this is ridiculous. I should keep doing this.
And it was relatable. People could relate to having an iPhone, and I mean, that's important, relate to what's going on in the general culture.
And it changed the world. The bill changed.
It did, a day later.
Yeah.
Actually. They sent like a message out, like, we're sorry. We apologize.
Cool. Well, I think that brings up a good point. You're talking about seeing your first iJustine video. Maybe about the community and how you guys all interact and like either work with each other or bounce ideas off each other, and just kind of the process and how kind of being part of the YouTube community gives you ideas or influences what you ended up doing.
Yeah, I remember the first days, when we first started going to these gatherings, that was exciting because you were meeting all these people for the first time, and being in their videos was a big deal. That was kind of like a good way to grow as a YouTuber in the early days, is you'd go to these gatherings, and I remember, I was like, I'm gonna be in a Charles Trippy video, and we made like a couple videos in Philadelphia together, and it's kind of interesting too, because in a way we're almost competitors, really. Like, probably don't like, that's what I see a lot of people say that though. They're like, it's cool how you guys are all like friends. It doesn't seem like you're competing with each other in a sense. Business people say that, but that's what's cool about growing up in this community, is that we were all friends first. We all started making videos because it was fun. Now it's like people are like, how do I get a channel? How do I start, making money? It was just because we thought we found this community and it was cool, and then all the money started coming.
That's the big thing with YouTube, is that you can't start thinking you're going to make a lot of money. You need to start making videos that you're happy with and enjoy, and then people read that they get that vibe, and then they sense it, and then they keep going back.
Do what you want, like have fun with it and be interested in it. I think that's a really good point.
Well, and speaking to the competition thing that Shay brought up, when people think about media, they think about television, and television is inherently competitive because it's like, this is on at 7 and something else is also on at 7, and you have to compete for that. And on YouTube, the competition is more of like it's almost like a game layer. Like, there is the most subscriber list, so you're competing in that sense, but really, like, every piece of content supports every other piece of content. If someone is on YouTube, they're more likely to watch another YouTube video afterwards than if they hadn't watched something before. So we don't hate each other automatically.
Competition. It's more of like a motivation competition. Yeah.
And the good thing to realize is that, if you have anybody watching you, just perform for that audience. A lot of people are always concerned, VidStatsX, they're red on VidStatsX. So it's like, I read an article recently where it's like, you don't have everybody in the world watching you, but there's people watching, so enjoy those people that are there, and the audience will grow as you just interact with them and, you share your life events.
And I think worrying about views and worrying about subscribers it's actually hurting you, because you don't want to obsess out. I could not even tell you how many subscribers I have. I never look. I don't care. I care, but I don't ever want to look, because I don't ever want to feel like I need to do this or I need to do that. Honestly, if you just have fun doing what you're doing, that's the most important part. And I don't ever feel like it is competitive, because these are your peers, these are your friends, and it's just a fun little happy YouTube family.
Coming back to the old YouTube gatherings, I'm just very thankful we have these now, because those other ones, they were the guerrilla ones where we get kicked out and people almost get arrested and just showing up in places. Yeah, so this is a lot safer.
So far.
We love you guys.
Until the snake gets out of the garbage can and...
I still can't hear anything. Oh, yeah, snake trash can.
Okay, so I think we have time for one more question. Dan, you brought up something that I thought was interesting, growing up with your audience and kind of going through the stages with them. But what were you guys like in lower school, middle school, high school? What were you guys like growing up? I know, and this is what we're ending on, so...
Well, I was always...
Too depressing, this is too depressing. I got beat up, I was up.
Yeah, well, at the end of high school, I was on YouTube, but leading up to that, I was actually always fascinated with media. When I was in middle school, every classroom had a television, and it was connected via whatever you call it, local area network for TVs. And we did a daily morning news show, and I was the lead anchor for that. And I always, I bought a camera when I was 13. I used to sing in operas, and they paid me $80, and so I saved up my money. I filmed my neighborhood kids going off of a ramp on our Razor scooters, and just made videos.
So you always had your camera then stuff?
Yeah, I've always been
awesome.
Very into media.
I think Charles wants to know if you go to comb over though. Is that the gesture? As a morning news anchor, did you have a nice
news anchor comb over? No, I don't know what I had. My hair was probably Did you get to read the lunch menu? Yes.
Yeah. That's the only part I've tuned in for. Sweet, it's spaghetti.
I guess for me, I was literally pretty much the same. In high school, like I didn't go to my prom, I went to a LAN party, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's where you take your computer to one person's house and you can then call together and you play video games. So really not much has changed. And even when I was very, very young, actually both of my sisters are here, so if you see them, they can tell you some really good stories of how cool I was. But like I used to take 2 VHS players and like I'd film on one and then I would be like recording and doing like crazy editing. So I mean, it's just something that I've always loved to do. So even like all of you guys, I know there's something that all of you love doing. So just start filming it and posting it online.
When I was in like 8th grade, I was playing a lot of sports, and my grandpa gave us this big video camera where you'd put the VHS into the camera and like hold it on your shoulder like Dan did when he was a news anchor. We'd hold it like this. And I would like to go back because there's hours of footage of my mom saying, "Shit, turn that camera off." Where I'm like, have this big camera and I'm just like filming stuff around in our house, and just there's got to be at least 10 minutes of her putting her hand into the camera saying, "Shit, turn that off." So yeah, I would like to go find that footage.
Convert it, post it to your channel. Convert it from like VHS.
I need to go find it because there is a video that me and my brother made when I was like a junior that I want to go find and like convert it.
I think we want to.
Yeah, we'll get it up there on the YouTubes very soon. Is that it? What were we like in high school?
Yeah, does anybody else?
I think we're all pretty much the same.
I was just gonna say, I was pretty much the exact same. I may have been a little quieter. YouTube obviously makes you come out of your shell a little bit more. But I think all of us, I mean, that's, you know, yeah.
It's kind of, yeah, I mean, you see it in our videos. It's like, a lot of us, you know, not so much Kassem, but a lot of us are exactly who we are in our videos. You guys have no idea what Kassem's really like.
Kassem's a big teddy bear. Don't let him fool you.
He's nice in real life.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I think those were some helpful tips.
Thank you guys.
Interesting stories. Thank you for joining us. See you later. And everybody else, we have a YouTube booth over here where you can be part of our giant YouTube sizzle reel, make a video, stop by to learn more about it. We're trying to make a giant collab. So have fun, enjoy Playlist Live, and we're excited to see you all.
Justine wants a pic. We've got another thing coming up, but Justine wants a picture. Like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.